What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Hellblade 2. Just kind of gush about it a little bit, talk about the state of this game. Look, I thought leaving the Game Awards, we'd be talking about a release date. We'd be talking about playing this game in April. That was the one kind of, in my mind of when we would get it. Turns out that is not the case, right? The one negative, and I mean, largely, the trailer looked phenomenal. And you'll see, I'm going to do like a ranking video of all the games I'm excited for next year. Hellblade, top 3, top 5. I haven't made the list yet. I'm kind of like putting it together in my head, then I'll write it down, but it's going to be my top 5. This is a game I can't freaking wait for. But yes, one negative of it is I thought this game was coming out, within the next 6 months. It really doesn't seem like it. Granted, especially for new viewers, I like to throw this in. Look, I'm not saying to rush it. I'm not saying release it tomorrow. This is just a fan being disappointed, right? That selfishly, that I can't play the game sooner. I will wait. I will enjoy it when it comes out. I'm not telling them to release it 6 months before it's ready, so it's a buggy disaster. Take the time they need. I think they are taking the time they need, and we'll play it when it's ready, okay? Just to throw it out there. But that was the big weakness of it, is just 2024, which does, in terms of like speculation, okay, so when does it come out, right? Now, I think, and I said this in the live stream for the Game Awards, if it comes out the first half of the year, I think you give a date. I don't want to read too much into like Black Myth Wukong because that actually gave a date, and that was in August. Games, historically, especially recently, don't really give dates that are further than 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months out. Wukong actually did quite a bit. August, that is quite far from right now. It's not that far in the grand scheme of things, but because you got many months where something could go wrong, it could get delayed again, all these things. Normally, companies don't do it. So when it comes to Hellblade, I think, if it was coming out in June, let's say. If it was coming out in June, you would say it. Because it's not that far. 6 months away is not that far. You could put a date on that and be okay. Now, will games come out in April, May, June? Yeah, they will. Hellblade just probably won't be one of them. Stalker is most likely the Xbox game in that first, that March, April period. I think that's Stalker 2. Then you got Avowed to play with, and then you got Hellblade to play with. So when do those two come out? Well, Hellblade, I always assumed was first. I think you might be able to make a point that Avowed has somehow passed it in terms of, the release, but I'm still going to stick with Hellblade being the first game, Avowed being the second game. So if I were to guess, I'd say Hellblade would be more of a summer, like a July, August, which I don't remember offhand. I think the first Hellblade was maybe August. That could totally be wrong. You can fact check me if you. That's okay. I can be wrong, but I feel like it was over the summer. I don't remember for sure though, but I think it makes sense. You put in July or August, and then you could have the fall and you could have Avowed, right? So in terms of, the release, that's kind of where I'm thinking that it's going to be going. In terms of the game itself, holy God. Look, what I actually really appreciated the most about this trailer is this was easily, I guess we saw it a few years ago that Jeff did too. This was very much in-game. You could tell. Some of the other stuff they've done, like I think a lot of it, or generally a good amount of it, has also been in-game. But this, to me, felt the most, like, complete. This felt the most like, okay, you can see this running. I think they even said like, it was captured on console. You can tell this was on an X. This was not showing it off. This was not making it look better than what it was really going to look like. I think it's really going to look like this. And oh my God. I mean, it's just visually. Now, visuals are not everything. But for a game like this, the atmosphere and what they're doing is pretty important. So you do have to nail that part on top of other things. I think they nailed it. I think the looks of this game were just so freaking good. One thing we haven't gotten too much about this game, I think there was a behind the scenes video where they had the girls walking around her and, whispering in the ear. We got that. But beyond that, we haven't heard so much of that, like, inner conflict. That's what made Hellblade 1 so, and I'm not saying it's not going to be in 2. It'll be in 2. But what made it so special was just, her voice. Or I guess not even just hers. All the voices in her freaking head, wearing headphones, hearing it kind of just bounce off. It's an experience, honestly, like no other. I can't wait to replay Hellblade 1 right before 2, and I'm going to do that for my third channel, because I want to hear that again. And it was scary, it was odd, it was different. It still is nowadays, but I think they nailed it. So that's one thing we still really haven't gotten, but this trailer really showed off combat, which I'm very happy for, because I do think one of the main weaknesses with the first game that I have seen numerous times in chats, in comments, is more of like the walking sim, right? More more of like it's a story and it's more about the tone and the atmosphere versus the game, an actual being a game. And it is hard to disagree with that because, yeah, largely the gameplay was the least existent part of the first game, and it was also the weakest part of I believe so, at least. So going to the second game, this is where you have to jump. Now, I actually would almost look at like a Plague Tale Innocence to Requiem as a good comparable, where it kind of happened there too. There was gameplay and it was pretty okay in Innocence, but the jump they made in just literal gameplay, on top of it being my game of the year last year, the gameplay itself was really good, and they definitely took that jump. So to me, that's what we got in this trailer. A lot. It's very cinematic. The gameplay looked very, very cinematic in this, but we got to see a lot of that. So as long as the gameplay, I think, holds, which I think it could, and I think it looks beautiful, and hopefully it feels good, right? That's probably the biggest part of this entire thing. I think we're in for a treat. Like I said, I really believe Hellblade can be one of, if not the best games of 2024. They just have to put it together, and of course, they have to release in 2024. So I'm excited. I think that trailer was awesome, and I think it was the best actual look. Even though, that longer, like 6-minute gameplay segment, I think that was a pretty good visual and just like, okay, this is what you're going to be doing in this game. Small little snippet and like one mission, not even a full mission, but just part of a mission. That was fine, but this was more of, okay, here's how you're literally going to fight people, and here's how it's going to look, and it looked a little bit different than what we've seen, prior, so I'm pumped. I am pumped for this game, and I can't wait till we start to get, I guess, even more stuff till they give the release date, because then it's going to be a very fast, ride to the finish line. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.